TKO Boxing with Sherry Abassi. Today I'm joined by Frankie Stringer, 10-0, who will be featuring on the December 20th card in Leeds, headlined by Callum Simpson and Troy Williamson. Frankie, first of all, thank you for giving me a bit of your time today, bro. How has training camp been? I saw on your Instagram today was the last day of camp. How are you feeling? You ready to go for next week?
Oh, mate, I'm feeling great. It's the best I've ever felt, so I can't wait to put on a good show on Saturday.
Absolutely. Frankie, before we sort of get into the boxing stuff, I saw on BoxRec you were born in Spain. Is that right?
Yeah, I was born in
What's the story there?
My mum and dad were living there and then just ended up popping me out.
Okay, straightforward. Then you were raised in Liverpool then, yeah?
Yeah, raised in Liverpool and yeah.
Excellent. So another name, training at the Rotunda as well, right?
Yeah, Rotunda.
There you go. So that gym has had so many great fighters coming through Liverpool, world champions, amateur greats as well. I was there a few months back actually. Looking at the wall and you see all the names on there. That must be a real motivating factor for yourself. Someone who's training there now to look at that and say, "I can be the next name at Liverpool." Does that motivate you and make you feel like you can go on to do something like that?
100%. I've been close with them all since I was a kid. I've looked up to them. I've grew up looking up to them, like Bellews, the Smiths. There's a lot that's come out of there, and that's what you want to. You've been around them all your life, so you want to achieve what they've achieved. So it's boss, and it's a famous gym, and some of the talent that's come out of there, and the talent that's still coming out of there. It's just an unbelievable gym, one of the best in the country.
A lot of history, like we said. So it's something that naturally you'd want to sort of emulate that and go on to be the next guy at Liverpool, because we've had a lot of great fighters coming out of there, like we've already mentioned. For yourself, Frankie, you're coming off a win off Kane Baker, a guy who's been in with a lot of the young up and coming names over the last 10 years in British boxing. He's always been someone who's given people tough fights and he's made you work for it. What was your sort of experience in that fight? How do you look back on that performance for yourself?
Yeah, it was weren't my best performance. I was a bit frustrated, but it was my first 8 round and it was my first step up, so I enjoyed it. But this is another step up. He's a championship level fighter. This kid, he's done the rounds. He's boxed with the British. He's been there, done it. So once I beat him, I'm gonna be pushing on for a big next year then. But I cannot wait for this, mate. This is the fight. These are the fights I need, to be honest.
And on a big platform, with Boxer and the BBC, that could be massive for your profile. So if you really put on a statement in that fight, that will do you wonders for your profile as well.
100%. I was saying that before after the gym today. One of the fellas, I said, it's probably going to be, I think it is live on BBC, and I make a statement and look good. People are going to be like, who's this kid? The publicity's going to go through the roof. So I'm just going to grab it with both hands, mate, and I'm going to show people what I'm about.
And for yourself, Frankie, for the people that maybe haven't seen you fighting, how would you describe your fighting style?
Just like a sharpshooter, counterpuncher, but you know the can say I can fight inside, I can do this, I can do that, but I can adapt. It just depends. I'm on a Levi's tough. He comes to fight. He comes forward. He's fit. He's tough. So I'm gonna have to show a bit of everything in this fight, and I believe I will do it. And I've got the ability to do that.
And like you said about Levi just then, about him being a guy who's tough and comes forward. I know you're not trying to minimize what he does, but for example, if that is the way he chooses to fight, would that play into your hands with your skill set, do you believe?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. We know what he does and what he does well, and what his weakness is. And I've had a good 8 to 10 week camp. I've been having boss sparring. I've got an unbelievable coach in Joe McNally who sees all the stuff. So I need to just do everything what I've been doing in the gym and take that into the fight night next week.
Absolutely. So, and like you said about Joe's been involved with a lot of big fighters over the years. So he's a very experienced coach. He'll know how to sort of get the best out of you and figure out what makes you tick as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. He's a knowledgeable one man when it comes to boxing, and he loves the sport. He goes home, he studies it. I can't ask for a better coach, really, to be honest.
Absolutely. And that relationship obviously is very important as a professional boxer. You need to have those guys that know what works and when to sort of push you and when to not as well in camp. Like you said, you had 8 to 10 weeks for camp as well, Frankie. How has this camp been in comparison to previous camps as well, knowing that you've had such a big opportunity at the end of the road sort of thing?
Oh mate, this has been the best camp by a country mile. Of the way I'm performing, sparring wise, the sparring I've had this camp, the opposition like has brought me on a lot. I just cannot wait, and it's come on a perfect time, mate, because it's live on BBC. I'm high up on the card. It's a good name, championship fighter. He's boxed for titles, so it's just all come at the perfect time, mate. And I just cannot wait to put it all into play next week. I really can't.
And like you can tell from the way you're talking as well, Frankie,
Yeah,
the motivation is all there because of all these things tick all those boxes for you.
that's
Not
what I'm
only in terms of
saying.
platform, the opponent, the things it can do for you moving forward, it will be huge. So for yourself, this is a real golden opportunity. So I'm sure you're going to take that with both hands and put your best
Yeah,
foot forward. Just to rewind a bit, Frankie, I know we very briefly touched on the fact that you were born in Spain and raised in
yeah.
Liverpool. Talk to me a bit about how you got involved in the sport of boxing. What was your journey? How did that all start?
It was me dad, and then me brother's 3 years older than me. He boxed. He stopped when he was about 17, but he won everything. He won the schoolboys, juniors, youths. He went to the Worlds for England. He boxed for England, and I was younger than him. I was the little brother. I was just going in as like getting us both in. I was just looking up to him, and then I just thought I enjoyed this. I want to start doing this regularly, and then I started winning a national title boxing for England, and then it's just it's just been boxing ever since, mate. To stop going to school and just focused on boxing, boxing, boxing.
So this has been a lifestyle for you then, essentially, from a young
Yeah,
age.
I mean, since I was 9, I've been going in with my brother. I'm in the Rotunda more than I'm in my own house, to be honest. So I love it, mate. I do. I enjoy it.
That is your home, basically, than what you're saying.
Yeah,
You live, breathe the
100%.
sport as well. So
Yeah,
that's what you need to do to make it, Frankie, which I'm sure you know that anyway,
yeah,
more than me. I'm
100%.
just a guy who sits on the outside, but someone who's
Yeah,
living that life every day, you know how
you
hard it
need
is and
to.
how much
Yeah, yeah,
commitment you show. So the fact that you've got that already in your mind is good at this sort of young stage of your career. 10
yeah.
and 0, this is now your 11th fight. Talk to me about the stigma of the undefeated fighter. We've seen that with Floyd Mayweather. That's sort of carried over for the last 10 years, that if you lose your O, that automatically you're a shit fighter, which we know that's not true. Anything can
No,
happen in
no.
boxing, right?
Yeah,
How important is your O to you? Is that something you're overly bothered about? I know right now you might say, yes, I am, but is that
yeah.
something that you look at as a massive thing, or do you look at it as if one day it does go, it'll be a learning process either way?
It's yeah, because you don't want to. It's not about the O. You're a winner, and you're in the gym, and you want to win. You don't want to lose, but it's not about the O, and it's all changing now. Like you see with like some fighters that they're losing, but it's benefiting them. Like
Mm.
because you can lose, but it being an unbelievable fight, and Eddie or these promoters will see that you are in a good fight, and they sign you like Josh Padley against Shakur
Yeah,
Stevenson. His career now is emulates because they're coming in on short notice. Ismail Davis stepping in on he's British champion now. What's he had 2-3 losses, but it used to be bad boxing where it is about but I think it's starting to slowly change and it's better for the sport because like you see in the UFC and all that, like they all lose, but in the end they fight for title shots and they do this, and so it is getting better, and it's good for the sport because no one wants to fight because they're scared to lose the O. But now with Turkey and that, the matchups we're getting, and people are losing their O, but it's fights, and that's the main thing. The best fighting the best, you know what I mean?
absolutely. I think, like you mentioned there, it's more about the performance you put in and the show of
Performance.
heart. Like you said, Ishmael Davis is a perfect example. In the last 12 months, he had 3 fights, lost 2 of them on short notice. He stepped in against, was it Josh Kelly and then Boachuk
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
Fury Usyk 2 undercard. He's had another fight in
yeah,
between, and now he's British champion. So
hundred
you
percent.
can see
And he's
it doesn't
fighting
really matter.
again, and he's got another fight again. Know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's 5 fights booked in not even 2 years. Know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
mad.
so if you take the opportunities and you perform, to the best of your ability, win, lose or draw, you will get another opportunities. But what we're seeing
Hundred
now, which
percent.
is like you said, that UFC model where guys who might have 10 losses are still rated as legends because they've fought everyone in the game and they've
Yeah,
shown heart, and
yeah,
that's a massive thing as well. I think
yeah.
in the
One
sport,
million percent.
and it's good to see you obviously agree with that notion as well, and
I
the
agree.
sport's
Yeah,
heading
one
that
million
way.
percent. People are too bothered about the O, but you're a winner, so you don't want to lose. But it doesn't matter. You still should be getting the opportunities because you're taking the fight against unbeaten kids and other world class operators. So the O's just a thing. You know what I mean?
It's a bit of a gimmick now, isn't it? But
Yeah.
it worked for Floyd. For his
No.
career, he made
Yeah.
millions off of it. But it's not for everyone. It's not going to work that way.
Yeah.
Speaking of, you mentioned obviously Turkey and the Saudi involvement as well. We've got big money shows there. We've got Boxer involved, which you'll be fighting on their card as well. Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren. This week we saw the announcement from Kali Sauerland and KSI and them like the MF Pro Boxing launching. So the sport is in a very healthy place from a perspective of the amount of promoters that are involved. And I haven't even mentioned the international promoters in America there, but there's clearly a lot of people involved and interested in boxing. How much does that benefit fighters like yourselves who are coming up in the sport where there's more variety and more options and opportunities for you?
It's massive because we're in this game to make a living, and these opportunities people are getting on these Saudi shows and the publicity and sponsorships coming out of it, it's massive, and it's making the sport thrive. And I've done this all my life. I want to keep doing it until I retire, and I want to make a good living out of it and enjoy my life. So it's unbelievable. I just need to keep winning and like you said, keep performing, looking good, having the step ups, and hopefully in the future I can get on them Saudi shows.
Yeah, fingers crossed. For yourself, Frankie, at the moment, are you signed to Boxer or are you just fighting on this card?
No,
you're signed to Boxer, yeah?
Boxer, yeah.
Okay, you've got a multi-fight deal with them, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, brilliant. That's
Boxer,
good. So you're guaranteed to get on some big shows then, even after this, hopefully, as well. So that's good to know. In terms of the sport at the moment, Frankie, we've got obviously some big fights coming up in the sport as well. Obviously, next week, which a bit of a freak fight, but we've got Joshua versus Jake Paul. What's your opinion on those sort of crossover mass appeal fights? Do you have an opinion on that? And what do you think the outcome of the fight will be?
Give Jake Paul his credit. He's trying, and he obviously does love the sport and he wants to get into it. But I just think if that goes past one round, I just think it's fixed, and Jake Paul's paying them, and I can see Anthony Joshua just flatlining them and it looking bad. But give them the money, like you said, they're in it to secure the family and the life. So fair play if Jake Paul and Joshua are getting 70 millions. I don't blame them, know what I mean? So fair play to them.
Yeah, I think the opinion is that most fighters are saying, you know what, I'll do the same thing. I'll take 70 million. Most people would. But the people that are criticizing are the guys that don't really understand it's prize fighting at the end of the day. You're there to make money, and who's going to say no to 70 million? If you're
That's what I'm saying. They're putting their health on the line and getting punched on the head. So they deserve every boxer, fighter deserves every penny they can get, me, because it's a dangerous sport and people get hurt. And like you said, there's deaths in this. So I respect any fight that gets in the ring because it's a dangerous game, mate.
And no one's in a better position than yourself to say that because you've lived this sport and you're involved in it. So you know the risks that come with it as well, the risk and reward. Obviously, that's on Friday the 19th. The 20th is your fight date. The main event is a banger, Williamson and Simpson. Have you got any thoughts on that fight and what do you think the public can expect to see?
They'll be in for a good treat, I'll tell you that, mate, because that Williamson's been in some good fights. He's one tough man. And you know how the way Simpson fights, he's just all action comes forward. I just think Simpson will just be a bit too big and a bit too much for him, a bit too fresh. But I can see it being a barnstormer, mate. It's going to be a very good fight. Good for BBC. Second fight on BBC because it's a good bill in general. There's a few little domestic fights. I don't really know them, but I think there's a few domestic fights, unbeaten kids on the undercards as well. And then you got me and Levi. That's a good fight. And then that American's fighting Elliot well. So it's a good card for Boxer's second show.
The last few bits for really, Frankie. What would you like to say to people tuning in to watch you fight on the 20th of December?
Just expect a good fight. People probably have already watched maybe Levi where he's been in title fights and what he does, but this is going to be a breakout fight for me, young prospect. I'm going to take this with both fans live on BBC, and the way I put the work in the gym, the way I'm sparring, the way I'm firing on all cylinders. It's going to be a good fight, put it that way, and it's going to be a Frankie Stringer victory.
Cheers, Frankie. And Frankie, just before we leave, where can the people who want to follow you find you on social media?
My Instagram's Frankie Stringer _ My Twitter is f.stringer1. Yeah, that's everything. That's all I'm on at the minute.
No worries, that's absolutely fine, Frankie. Once again, massive thank you for giving me a bit of time, Frankie. I appreciate it, and obviously, best of luck for fight week and fight night next week. I'm sure you're going to put on a great show, mate.
Thank you for that, mate. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Cheers, bro.
Appreciate that.